Welcome to Rise with Rena.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in. I am here with the fabulous Jennifer Frost. Welcome to Rise with Rena. And have you ever had those stubborn pounds? Have you ever had a health or exercise goal that you just can't hit? Well, this girl is going to get you fit with her audit method. But before that, let's meet the incredible Jennifer Frost. Jennifer, thanks so much for being here.
Well, thank you, Rena. I love it. This is so exciting.
So, Jennifer, how did you get into health and fitness? Like, why health and fitness and why you?
Well, it really all started probably 30 plus years ago during a breakup of a first marriage where I thought I was going to be married forever and it was going to be happily ever after, but
Sunshines
that
and
didn't turn
rainbows.
out. So I needed to go get a job. And the job I found at the time served twofold. It helped me get into shape and it helped me be with the kids. So I got into personal training. And that was my first profession in health and wellness. So I love personal training and doing that and helping people achieve their goals. But I also felt this need to go to do other things. So I've always leaned back on my training knowledge and wellness coaching, which is has morphed from the personal training field. And I've always relied on that to get me through the 30 plus years of highs and lows of my life. So I just want to give back that knowledge and that experience and the tools that I went through to help stabilize me during tough times.
Well, I will tell you, I've had a personal trainer for probably like 14 years now. And I would not exercise without a personal trainer because it's snowy and ugly outside. And I have an appointment with my trainer. Well, I had one Friday morning and I have one tomorrow afternoon. And I will tell you, with how bad the weather is and how hard it's going to be for me to just get out of my driveway, I would cancel if it was just me. But the fact that I have an appointment and that I've paid for it, guess what? I'm going to show up.
Yep.
And I let myself off the hook when I work out, but when I work out with a trainer, they don't let you off the hook. So you went through some rocky roads in life, but you still kept your health as a priority. So how did you do that?
So when I got into the health and fitness industry, it just became ingrained in me, and that's part of my personality. And I can relate to you, Rena, how there's a lot of people out there that need that appointment, that need the accountability, the partner in the journey. And fortunately, I was so disciplined in my protocols that I stuck with it no matter what. It was no longer should I? It was a decision I made on Sunday because it all starts Sunday because there's a lot of things that can happen from Sunday to Saturday. But I found that continuously, if I just put if it was 5 minutes, I remember committing the first time, I'm just going to exercise for 5 minutes on Monday, and that's it. And that's what I held, myself accountable for. So it's just a journey, and a lot of people don't know how to get from point A to point B, and they just want some support and they want the right tools to fit their lifestyle, not your lifestyle to fit the protocol. That's where
Absolutely. No, and that's okay. So first, what I heard you say is partner. And if you want to go farther, go with other people. And so having a partner really makes a difference. And I think the second thing that you said that I think is so important, like it was natural to you or it became part of your lifestyle. However, like managing money is really good for me. I'm a natural at that. Like certain things I'm very disciplined on. Keeping the house organized, cleanliness, things like that. Like I am on it. But that doesn't mean that we are all gifted in the same areas, right? And I
correct.
remember once at the gym, I said, I need a babysitter. They were like, well, they have a kids club, and you can bring your kids. And I was like, no, I need the babysitter in this area of my life. In this area, I do need the partner. I do need the sport. And the best quote, and I use this quote all the time. Okay. Because I teach women how to run successful businesses. But my personal trainer said to me, she goes, people walk into the gym and they say, oh, I want to tighten up a little bit of this, build some muscle, maybe some strength, endurance, whatever, right? Maybe lose a couple of pounds. And then she goes, and then they sigh and they say, I just don't want to sweat. And I think that's kind of part of our culture. Like we want all these great things, right? We just don't want to sweat. And I'll tell you, I think sweating is some of the best thing you can do. It's just like such a good detox. So when you have a client that fitness may not be their number one thing, how do you handle it? What do you do?
Well, I really get to know, the individual, their motivations, their why, their what they really want to accomplish long term, and really the identity, because really it comes down to identity work.
Yeah,
Because if it's not part of who you are, and if your fitness and your wellness, and this is more than just going to a gym and exercising. This is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, decisions that you need support with, because you could do the hard work for 45, 50 minutes in the gym and then go out to eat 4 times a week and not know how to choose the right things. And you might as well just throw everything out the window. So I take a very holistic approach to see where the lifestyle is, where are the pitfalls, where are the roadblocks, where the mindset around fitness, what's worked now, what's worked in the past, what hasn't worked, what are the beliefs. So I'm looking at it more holistically so that I can help, hold the space, knowing that the journey can be done, but it doesn't have to be done in 5 weeks or 6 weeks. It's a lifetime of mindset and beliefs that sometimes has to get changed to become that person, the energetic body to live the vibrant life that you want.
totally. All right. Now, Jennifer, how do they contact you? What's your website?
It is jenniferfrostwellness.com.
Okay.
Pretty simple. It has
All
my
right.
email, my phone number. You can schedule a discovery call. You reach out. I could send you a link, and we can talk through how, what you're looking to accomplish, and if it's a good fit, and what that journey map looks for you individually.
All right. So jenniferfrostwellness.com. If you want to get in touch with Jennifer, and sometimes I think the hardest step is the first step, right? Like making the call or booking an appointment or whatever. And so when I didn't go to the gym a lot, like going to the gym was foreign to me, you know? And now I will tell you, one of the reasons I go to the gym so much is all my friends are at the gym. And when I
Yes.
don't show up, they're like, "Where have you been?" Or they're like, "Oh, we haven't seen you." And it's like in your face, like you missed it. You missed something. And so then I started trying out different classes. But I will tell you, one of the things I do on a regular basis, I do the Stairmaster and I do yoga. And the flexibility, the way I feel in my body. And, I've done yoga for years, but then you miss it for 2 weeks. You come back, Jeffrey, I can't even like reach my toes. And I'm like sitting here going, what happened? So exercise, I think, is something definitely that, use or lose, but living in a healthy body, living in a pain-free body
Yep.
is so worth it. And for
Yep.
me, how I trick myself is yoga is my visualization time, because you know how you don't have time to visualize your goals. So
Yep.
yoga is not as taxing on your brain. So I'll just like visualize, what do I want this year to look like? What do I want this year to look like? And I can
Right.
manifest so many things in my yoga class while I'm sitting there doing the movements.
I love that. That's amazing. You have to, like, whenever I do, even in college, I would study on the elliptical. Because, when you put movement to visions and thoughts, it just solidifies that so much more deeply and becomes a part of you and your energy and your energetic body. And it's so right. Rena, it's not necessarily a number on the scale, or it is how you feel in your body, how you move, and how much energy. Maybe it's just you don't want to have that afternoon slump. Maybe it's like you want to be able to go to bed, with a restful body and not be jittery. There's so many aspects to wellness. And I've taken not just my personal training experience, but as a life coach and also as a nutrition coach and a behavior change specialist, I'm looking at the whole body, the whole person, mind, body, and spirit to get you where you want to be.
Yeah, no, and it's a full package deal. Now, I heard something about audit. What the heck is audit?
It is, it's a method that I kind of take my clients through. I've spent nearly 15, 20 years in corporate America and managing large teams in government contracts and whatnot. And it's one of the hardest things in people managing is people there's no line between work and human. You can't just come to work and forget everything you have. You have to learn how to deal with
personality somewhere else. Yeah.
with everything. So, I've seen burnout, I've seen the uncertainty and how it affects my teams. So it was my heart to, help support, my team as a people leader, but then using that experience in corporate America, how can I help corporate America employees feel better going to work and be more productive and more healthy and more energetic in their body? So the audit method is really kind of an idea that came out of that, where we're going through an awareness phase, we're going through an uncovering phase, a documenting phase, we integrate, and then ultimately transform into the new identity and the person that you want to be for yourself. You have to do it for yourself.
Okay. So say the letters again. Audit, AUDIT.
AUDIT, awareness, uncover, document, integrate, and transform.
And I love that you have a proprietary method. So many personal trainers are just personal trainers, but you have an actual method for transformation. And I think that's the biggest thing. One of my personal trainers back in the day, Jennifer, was this ex-military guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a good 20, 25 years younger than me, but he would push me like I was another military dude. But what it taught me was I'm really strong. Like I'm really strong. And so, having someone there and telling you, yeah, you can do this, you can make all these changes. It really makes a difference.
It does.
You must have a lot of success stories with your clients. So what are some things that you have helped your clients overcome as far as their health and fitness goals?
Well, you're digging. There's a lot. It's really a mindset. Awareness is so key in your health journey. It's so key, and just bringing the awareness of how much protein you should have, and when people just make these small little changes, I get such fantastic feedback. Just a little bit of knowledge in the right direction with the execution of it. I get so much feedback on how my support has helped them realize how to help themselves. And that's really what it's all about. It's learning the tools to help yourself.
All right. Now, you talked about some rocky times in your life, and I know this past year has been a zinger for you.
Yeah.
What made you, through the rocky times, keep on exercising, keep showing up for yourself? Because usually those are the times when we just put ourselves on the shelf and act like we don't matter. What made you keep showing up?
Well, I noticed a difference in my body. Like you said, Raina, this has been 2025 was a year of a lot of loss. My mom passed away, ending a very serious relationship after a couple years. And I noticed in my body how it felt, the stress. And when I wasn't following my own protocols, I noticed it immediately. So I kept having to show up, and it didn't matter the to-do list and all the things that come with processing that grief. But really, the movement helped me get rid of the grief out of my body. That's really what the movement helped me to do. And if I noticed if there was a time where I wasn't putting myself first that day in those periods of time, it would drag my mind into a million directions. But when I show up for myself and I keep showing up, it's the dopamine and the hormones, the chemistry that happens when you move your body. You just process through, those down feelings much more quickly. So it wasn't even a choice. I just recognized, and I had to just get back to what I was doing that would, help my
So
mental state.
does audit help with stress? So what if someone is going through a period of loss? And that's hard. It's hard losing your mom. And I was so sorry when I heard about her last summer. Like, it's hard. So what does exercise do for helping you with that mental load and the grief and the stress?
There's so many different chemical reactions in your body that happens when you move your body. There's so much science behind it. It just helps get it out of your cells. Like, how yoga, when you move your body in the rhythmic movements, it just releases that stress and those hormones that you need, the good hormones, to make you feel better. So if you just keep showing up and keep doing it for yourself, knowing that everything else can wait, because like I said, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others and take care of what needs those important things and those trials. You can't get through them.
No, absolutely. And if you don't have anything inside you, it's really hard to give, right? You can't give from nothing.
Yep.
One of the things that I realized about exercise, and I get these like little comments, Jennifer, and they like propel me so much. So I was on a flight, and of course I have my luggage, and I hate checking bags. So I put everything in the kitchen sink in my carry-on. So my carry-on weighs a ton, and I'm short, so I can't reach the overhead bins. So I picked up my carry-on over my head and got it in had to go on my tippy toes, got it in the overhead bin. And this young flight attendant was there watching me, and she goes, "Someone hits the gym." And it's just like people notice. And then the other day, last month, I was just squatting. I was just squatting and talking to somebody, right? And they were sitting on a chair, but I was just squatting on the floor because, it was just a short period of time. And so I was just talking to them. And they were like, "How do you sit like that?" And then he said straight up, "You do yoga, don't you?" And I was like, I don't think like you look at me and you're like, "Oh, she must do this or that." But there's just like little movements that you can do about feeling comfortable in your body and having no pain and just, the energy. And I also think, and you can kind of talk a little bit about this. I think I sleep better when I'm actually physically tired, not just mentally exhausted from firefighting and trying to, accomplish 6 months worth of work every day. But
Mm-hmm.
when you're actually physically tired, I feel like we sleep better. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. You're really, going to the gym and releasing all that negative energy and getting your body into a tired state, working it hard, helps calm the mind too. And going back to the airplane, you have to put your oxygen mask on first before you can do for others. So you put your oxygen mask on, you work your body, you fill yourself up, and you're right. People notice. I mean, you don't just in the flexibility, and as we get older, I mean, everybody, like menopausal and above, perimenopause, they start running into like joint issues and stiffness and stuff like that. And just a body in motion stays in motion, and you have to have it so ingrained into your life. And that's where, the coach comes in. You have to get the support and the tools you need, to integrate it into your life. So it's not a thing to do, but it's something you do for yourself. It's a form of self-care. And to your point, you sleep so much better when you actually expend that energy and don't have all those racing, ruminating thoughts settling in your cells day after day. You have to get it out. You have to sweat it out. Sometimes we can't put words to how we feel, so our body just is able to just extinguish it and actually get a restful night's sleep.
No, absolutely. And I will just tell you, it's kind of funny, but I tell my dad I don't do drugs. Like I don't do any over the counter. I'll take vitamins. That's about how far I'll go, but I don't do drugs. And that's the biggest thing. Like I don't need a painkiller. I don't need an anxiety pill. I don't need all these things that people A are addicted to now, and B, they're so toxic for your body.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I just think like doing the self-care ritual that you really want to be that person that does the self-care ritual, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it just has so many side benefits. What other side benefits have you noticed to just when your clients are healthy or feeling fit, what else kind of weird benefits do they get that maybe people don't focus on?
Yeah, like to your point, like carrying luggage or being able, you're traveling to a foreign country. There's a lot of people that like don't travel or do anything because they don't know if they can walk on the cobblestone streets. The mind, the emotional benefits, being able to regulate your body. I used to tell my clients, um, you're putting your body under stress in the gym. So it's a planned stress. So then when non-planned stress comes, your body knows how to handle it better because it knows this is only temporary. It's a discomfort for this, but I'm going to get the reward on the other side. So the more you put your body in an uncomfortable, sweaty, hard condition in the gym, you're training your body how to respond to unplanned stress. So there's, even if it's, picking up your grandkids off the floor, sitting down on the floor, it's so important. Like just sitting on the floor and getting up. There's so many people that just can't do that, or they have a mindset, I'm too old, I'm not going to do it. Or they're afraid to hurt something. And really, it's the confidence in yourself that you get from actually putting yourself first, putting the right nutrients in your body, working it, and you have you have so much more freedom to move about your life. And we're all living so much longer these days. So why not live in a state of free form freedom in your body?
Yeah. Yeah, why not love the skin you're in? So I
Right.
was at the mall today, and the mall was actually packed. I was so excited. I was like, "Oh my god," because you know how malls have been kind of like ghost towns lately, but it was just so cool to see so many people at the mall. And I was like, "Oh crud, I haven't exercised. I should do something." And then I forgot. I took a 1-hour Pilates class this morning, and but it's one of those habits, and if I don't show up at Pilates or yoga, people start asking me like, "Were you out of town? Were you this? Were you that?" And you start feeling guilty. Now, the other thing is that I didn't think this would happen, but exercise has gotten me like 3 or 4 new friend groups.
Oh,
And
yeah.
as an adult, right? Make people like, I have friends. How do I meet people? Well, I've got my yoga friend group. Okay. Then I've got my Pilates friend group, and then I've got my cosmetics business friend group, and then I have my religious friend group, and then I just have like the general people I've known my life and like old friends. And then, I go to cool seminars and meet people like you, right? And so having this thing where you're a regular somewhere, okay? Uh it's a really cool feeling of belonging, and I think that um I don't feel like I'm taking care of myself because I know when I show up someone's going to ask me something about something.
It's true. I feel like when I go to the gym, I solve the world's problems in the sauna because every night the same group of people are there, and it's a family. My gym family. And it just, we all support each other. It's such a positive environment. No one's ever like says anything negative about, oh, you can't do this and you can't lift that. And it's all just such a positive environment, which then just makes it that much easier. And that's what I want to do I want to give like the confidence for a woman to go into the gym and actually know what to do, on their own. Because a lot of people don't know and they're intimidated, and there's a lot of big guys throwing around weights sometimes, and they just stick in their little
Dropping
corner.
weight.
But you know what? We belong in that weight section.
Oh,
We
that's
belong.
right. That's right.
And we deserve to lift. We can lift the same weights, and it's okay. And we might only lift like 5 pounds or 20 pounds or whatever it is. But you know what? I want to give people the confidence and the tools to walk into a gym, any gym in this country or the world, and know exactly what to do for themselves.
Well, and I don't want to figure it out this way. But that leg press thing where you kind of lay on your back and you press the legs? I'm up to 700 pounds.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
These short little stubby legs. Yeah, don't right? These short little stubby legs can do stuff.
Doesn't that make you feel amazing though?
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm doing it. Like guys are like sitting there going, she's going to get crushed. And then I'll do like 10 or 12 reps.
Yeah. And it really pours over into that confidence pours over into everything. Once you feel good about that in your physical state, it just pours into every aspect of your life, honestly.
Oh, no. It feels so good. The other thing I felt as far as me, taking my exercise seriously, keeping my gym membership going because they keep raising the prices, the personal training, everything. You know what? I look at parents, right? And let's say you want your kid to learn soccer or tennis or something. Would you put them somewhere without a coach? Would you like, hey, go in the backyard, hit some balls, kick some balls, and hey, you're going to be in the Olympics one day? No. My whole thing is like, if you wouldn't put a kid in anything without a coach,
right,
then why wouldn't you do a little bit for yourself? So if you need help in business, get the business coach. If you need help in money, get the money coach. And if you have other strengths and health and wellness are not your strengths, man, there's nothing wrong with having the coach just to show you a couple of little moves. The thing I love about my trainer is I'm totally healthy because they don't let me get injured. They're like, hey, you're putting your weight here. I'm like, no, I'm not. But they'll sit there and go, okay, move your heels back, do this, do that, shift or whatever.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference, right?
It does, because
micro adjustments.
Right. That's exactly it. And it makes me think about, like, I'm sure your trainer did like an assessment for you to walk to see all the muscle imbalances. And people walk in to a gym, they just start lifting weights. They don't realize they have to like start with their core and correcting the muscle imbalances first before you start loading on an imbalanced system. That's where injuries happen. So it's, there's a lot of information out there that you can go and get, whatever exercise program you want, but do you know how to assess yourself? Do you know the questions to ask yourself? Like, is my core to the point where I could start loading 700 pounds on a leg press? Am I walking, or my knees, walking out, or my hips misaligned, or my toes turned in? Those are the things that you don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. And that's what a trainer or a coach can assess for you, so that what where your starting point is and where to go from there.
And one of the other things I really enjoy, like I said, exercise is not my thing. Okay. But I think it was 5 or 6 years ago, I got a bib in the Marine Corps marathon. And I just wanted to say I ran a marathon. Okay. And the Marine Corps is timed, if you guys don't know. The Marine Corps is timed. Okay, I didn't make the time. I'll just tell you. Okay. My goal was surviving. Okay. My goal was to survive the marathon. And then 2 years ago, we have this weird family urban legend. Okay, Jennifer. My great grandfather climbed Mount Fuji at the age of 72.
Wow.
So every now and then at these, family reunions, someone's always going to go, we talk about some feat, and then they always throw in, and granddaddy climbed Mount Fuji at the age of 72. So going to Japan back then, and it was probably like 1950s, not exactly tourist place, and to climb Mount Fuji. So 2 years ago, my son and I climbed Mount Fuji.
Wow.
And honestly, now this is the weird thing. I would have never done it if my grandfather hadn't done it. And then so
Right.
many people saw me do it. And I will tell you, the score is Mount Fuji 1, Rena 0, because the mountain kicked my butt. Okay, but I went to the summit and I did the whole perimeter, but still, okay, it was a butt kicking mountain climb.
Yeah.
Partly because those boulders, like the guys were just stepping up on them. I was on all fours because my legs are like so much shorter.
Right.
And but it just taught me so much about myself. And now I understand the whole addiction to climbing mountains, because when I was climbing Mount Fuji, I have never been so present anywhere, because the only thing you can think about is your next step, where your foot is going to go, where your hand is going to go, and how are you going to make that next step on the mountain. And I forgot all the crap going on in my life. And you remember that year, how much crap was going on in my life. I forgot, there was no one to be angry at. I couldn't think about the past. I couldn't think about the future. I was just in the moment. I was like, oh, this is why these people climb mountains, because you get so much presence when you are climbing a mountain. So Jennifer, wrap it up for us. What are one or two key takeaways do you want all our listeners and viewers to go home with?
Well, the biggest thing is recognizing, how do you feel in your body now? How do you want to feel? And what tools and support do you need to live out, your future state? Is it just want to be pain-free? Do you want to be able to sit on the floor? Do you want to be able to, run around with your grandkids? Do you want to be able to not have to take a nap in the middle of the day? Just the awareness is key, and recognizing where you are now and where you want to be, and building that confidence and self-trust and reaching out.
And for me, I would say my personal goal is I do travel a lot. And in the US, they're compared to the rest of the world, we're very handicap friendly. Okay. I'm not saying we're great at it. I'm just saying compared to the rest of the world,
True.
We're better at it.
Right.
But let me tell you, if you want to leave this country, there ain't no handicap ramps. There's no even curbs. There's no even steps. Most of these cultures don't even use elevators. I remember when my parents were stationed in Belgium, it was a 9-story apartment building, and no one used the elevator except us. We were on the 5th floor. We were like we're the only ones in the elevator, but they would carry their groceries every day. Every day they would buy food, fresh food, and they would carry it up 9 flights.
And that's why they don't need gyms over in Europe, because you're walking, you're hiking, you're stepping over, you're carrying groceries. That is, that's life, and that's how your body was trained. It's unfortunate in America, where we're sitting behind a desk 8 hours a day. You have to go somewhere to do it.
Yeah. No. Yeah, absolutely. So that was one thing, in Africa, I remember there was something on the 4th floor, and my dad wanted an elevator, and our guys were just about having a heart attack, going, "What? You want an elevator for 4 flights of stairs?" Like, I've never heard of anything so absurd in my life.
Right.
So to me, mobility is the biggest thing. My flexibility with yoga, like the movements I can do now. I've got my headstand back. I've gotten, like certain things back. And that, you're right, Jennifer, it gives you a confidence to take on new challenges, because I know on this next trip I'm going on, like, I'm going to be okay.
Exactly. You want to live your life out loud for as long as you can.
Exactly. And my grandmother, she was probably one of my, this is my great grandfather's daughter. She was probably one of my big inspirations because she would walk. She would walk in half an hour every day. And at 91, 92, she was still flying international,
Wow.
walking without a wheelchair,
Yep.
gate to gate. And I'm telling you, some of these airports are big. And that's really what I think health is to live a really super healthy life and not have a huge, slow deterioration of losing your mind and losing this and not being able to feed yourself and not being able to change your clothes and, like all
Yeah.
that kind of that dignity stuff. And for me, I figure every day I spend in the gym is one less day at the end of my life that I'm in a hospital. Yeah, like
Absolutely.
it's like a
Absolutely.
it's like a trade-off for me.
Yeah.
Well, this has been fantastic. But thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining us today. And Jennifer, I love you. So it's always fun to get to spend time with you. I'll see you on our next call. But if you guys have any questions, definitely reach out to Jennifer. She's fabulous. She exercises twice a day, which I didn't want to mention in this because I was like, oh my God, this girl's crazy. This girl's crazy. When she exercises once, twice a day, I'm like, I just exercised today. Like, give me a cookie.
Oh, thank you, Rena. I love you. This has been amazing. I appreciate you so much.
Stay tuned for the next episode of Rise with Rena.